Good afternoon and welcome to the show. You are here with me, Jocelyn and Marie, and the show is Your Health, Your Future, Your Choice. Still a tongue twister for me. I still have to get that just memorized in my head. But today we're going to have a fabulous time discussing integrative medicine and how it can be a useful tool in our healing. It affects everything in our life. We need to be aware of everything that's out there. What are the types of integrative medicine? What are the benefits? How do we identify red flags? What do we do when we see a red flag? So welcome again, Miss Marie. As always, it's great having the two of us co-hosting together. I love it. And I know you have some feedback and recaps from some of the ladies. So why don't we start with that?
All right. So the first, it was on the first show.
Okay.
They really never thought that they could have self-healing abilities, that they could really be that much of a part of their healing. They thought it was the doctor, the whatever. Mm-hmm. I think what confuses them the most is it's not just about the energy medicine we're talking about a full spectrum. Your choices, your emotional piece, your physical piece, mm-hmm. and they're a little overwhelmed by that, but they're very, very curious on how they create their own healing package with all those things involved.
That is a really, really nice comment. It's funny, not funny, haha, but funny, strange, because I've run into a number of people since our last show, and they've been talking about listening to their body. Mm-hmm. Well, I really don't like this exercise. And I said, well, you don't have to like it and you don't have to do it. You can find something else that works for you. Mm-hmm. And it's been very interesting watching people as the light bulb goes on that, wait a minute, I can make that decision.
Exactly,
wait a minute.
Because we're so programmed that we can't.
I love that comment. That's
this
great.
This next one for me, for me, the fear-based medicine is a personal issue that it overwhelms me to see so many people doing it. Well, this person had to do treatments from a medical perspective because the alternative was not working. Mm-hmm. But she's so programmed into, unless it says all natural on the bottle, it's bad for you.
Okay.
So even with her first treatment, she had such a panic attack that she wasn't going to do it anymore because it was coming from a medicinal standpoint.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And she realized how toxic she was by not even seeing that this is her answer.
Well, isn't there a school of thought that what medicine or herb or food or drink or health care that you go to, how you feel about it, how you
if you're
take
taught
it in.
If you're taught that. But if you're only reading stuff on the internet and you're going to practitioners who are telling you all this will hurt you, you're afraid of it.
Correct.
So she's been working really hard. She's been doing meditations. She's been doing all kinds of things. She's been doing the treatments, and she's really doing well. But it's been a rough ride.
I would imagine so. I mean, that's a lot to unlearn.
Yeah.
That brings in huge trust issues.
Yeah, of herself and her choices. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Because now she has to go against everything she thought to be true.
Yeah.
Right? From the Right or Wrong show, I have a gentleman that now when he's sitting with friends, he watches himself and he sees himself arguing with other people. He says he hasn't stopped because he kind of enjoys the banter, but he realizes that it's not the win-all anymore, that he doesn't have to win the conversation, he doesn't have to prove his point, that it doesn't matter that they don't get it, and that
that's
he's
a huge step forward.
He hasn't stopped. He doesn't know if he's going to stop, but he at least recognizes it and laughs at himself now. See, I'm one of those. I'm like a born again. I got to tell you and you got to believe it.
But to me, that's a huge first step.
It is.
And I think, and not to diminish the next step or next 2 steps or 10 steps, but to me, to be able to see that in yourself, to recognize it, to laugh at it, now he's at the point where, okay, is it worth going forward with it, or maybe he might pick and choose when he wants to do that. But now the ball's in his court, whereas before he was just so bullheaded. I kudos to him. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the 3 for today.
I like it. Wow, such positive feedback. And I really, truly love how so many people are looking around at what's going on in the world and choosing what their reaction is going to be.
Right.
And choosing to, I don't want to say ignore it and be oblivious and just be happy as a lark and skipping and jumping, but choosing to balance everything in life and putting their health, their spiritual wellness, their physical well-being ahead of everything else. And I think that's big.
They're trying. And what I like about the comments aren't, you told me something and it worked. They literally get that we're all in this fight and we're all trying to figure it out. And that it's all trial and error. Yeah, it's very realistic.
I love
that's
it.
my favorite part, because I'm all about reality, not the quick fix, because I know life is not a quick fix.
Well, if, we were taught to assume that medicine in all forms is the quick fix and give me the pill and I'm better.
Right.
This is no different. And somehow people on opposite sides think the opposite thing, but all of it takes time. All of it is a procedure. All of it needs decision making.
Right.
So tell me about this integrative medicine. What are you talking about with
integrative
that?
medicine for me is a big can of worms. If you can find a good integrative medical practitioner, it's a person who's trained to work from all sides of medicine. So they know most complementary medicines, they know the alternative medicine, they know the Western model, so they can sit in front of you and say, okay, you have reflux. Let's try this first. If that doesn't work, we'll venture into the meds. If you try this, or, and they're very open about it, not, we don't want you to use the meds, because they're bad for you. They're just very open about, let's problem solve and figure out what we can do. And it's very broad, because a lot of people, anybody can call themselves an integrative practitioner depending on their skill sets. So I'm going to go down and show you, like an acupuncturist can be a complement to medicine, but depending on where they're trained, if they're trained in a couple different modalities, they can integrate.
Okay.
But it all depends on their training. Chiropractors can train to be acupuncturists. Medical doctors can train to be acupuncturists. And there can be anywhere from, like a seminar type thing that they learn basics, to a 2-year college to a 6-year college.
Okay.
There's no one way that things are done. So, and then they can claim that they can do it. Osteopaths can do chiropractic. They can do acupuncture. They can do nutrition, whatever they want to do. So it's up to you to sit in front of that person and talk to them and find out their theories.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with chiropractic. Some just do chiropractic. Some can mix nutrition and exercise. Some have massage in their offices as well. I've seen quite a few train in acupuncture, but the ones that I've seen train in acupuncture, they don't go to a 4-year acupuncture school. It's more of a side thing.
Okay.
So you're not going to get the same that you're going to get from a traditional Chinese acupuncturist when you're doing that. Is that an integrative person? Sure, but are they using the Western model as medicine as well? So when you need it, are they sending you off to it, or are they just relying on that skill set?
Gotcha.
So what is their mindset? That's what you have to find out.
Okay.
Are they willing to send you where you need to go, or are they just using their skills? A naturopath, okay? Naturopaths are highly trained. They have about 8 years of schooling.
How many?
8.
8. Okay.
And they learn the same science as a Western medical practitioner. So you can find some of them blend pretty well, because they know both sides of the fence. But then you find the ones that don't like Western medicine at all and try to treat you without sending you off when you need to be treated.
Correct.
Again.
So
are they integrative or aren't they? I mean, I had somebody recently, she was going on to cancer treatments, and I said, you need to find a good naturopath that'll integrate with your cancer doctor. So she called and interviewed, and they said, oh yeah, we work alongside cancer doctors all the time. Immediately, they gave her 20 supplements, put her on a strict diet after the cancer doctor had already put her on a high-calorie diet. They put her on a keto diet and literally threatened her that if she didn't do this, this wasn't going to work for her.
Oh dear.
And she goes, what's my oncologist going to say? It doesn't matter. This works. That's not an integrative.
That's not integrative, no. That's lip service.
Well, that's their belief in what they're doing is better than what the Western is. Our hopes is that you can find which one's going to work for you at what time. Because sometimes you need a little bit of both.
Correct.
So that's the key. That's the hard part.
Interesting. That's a naturopath. Okay.
Yeah.
All
A
right.
homeopath.
Homeopath. Whoa.
Yeah.
Naturopath and homeopath. Wait a minute, I got to take notes. Okay.
They do, I think it's like cures like, and they use more like of an energy type medicine. And supposedly it's all harmless, but it goes at your deepest cellular level.
Okay.
According to their training and stuff. So they can cross-train as well into other modalities. They can say that if, I'm an integrative practitioner, that I'm working from all sides. But again, are they when you need to take that next step? Because what they're doing
are they willing to share and
that
play nice?
to me is the big key.
Yep.
Okay? Because from the 20 years I've been doing it, I'd say 80% of them are willing to do that.
Okay.
So to find that little niche of the 20% is going to be your job. But if you can find one, you're where you need to be because they're going to help you brainstorm whatever you need.
Okay. So 20%.
20% will send you off.
Okay. The 80% might not.
Right, because what I find is the biggest loophole is when you do alternative, they don't have access to the diagnostics that the Western model of medicine has.
Correct.
So you miss a lot of things. And I send people off for the diagnostics all the time because I go, you don't even know the facts and you're throwing all this stuff at
And you're
it.
trying to find a solution.
I'm not saying you have to use the medicine, but let's get some facts on the table on what you're trying to handle, because I support wherever you're at, but I can't help you support something with your back if I don't know what's wrong with your back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you need all the facts on the table before you decide what you're going to do about it.
I am huge about that.
So in other words, don't go and throw everything up on the wall like spaghetti and see what sticks.
Do it all the time, all the time. I mean, there's people afraid of x-rays. There's people afraid of CAT scans. There's people afraid of colonoscopies because there's all this stuff on the internet that tells you they're bad. Well, colonoscopies save lives. I've had 2 people have their colon resected because they didn't choose to do them. They save lives, but they read this stuff that tells them it's all bad for them. Which is worse, having your colon removed or
having a colonoscopy?
Yeah, you got to weigh it. Okay. So osteopathic medicine. I don't know if you know what an osteopath is.
From growing up in England, yes.
Okay. So here, the osteopathic medicine, they're MDs, and a lot of them do fellowships in osteopathic. So they're not as balanced as we'd like to see them. Over in Canada, they used to have more that were more into the natural pieces and more hands-on. They're a little bit glorified chiropractors, and they know a little bit depending on how much they choose to branch out and study on their own.
If they want to do specialties.
Yeah, that's a big way. Yeah. Again, you can find one that's all alternative osteopath. You can find one that's all doing the Western model of medicine, but then you can find one that blends a little in the middle. Again, do they really play both sides of the fence equally, or are they tainted in saying one's better than the other? That is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and you have that with Western medicine as well.
You do.
I mean, it's on both sides. It's on all sides.
Because you think you're getting an integrative physician that way too, and they won't use it won't work. Right. Where they won't let you take vitamin C or whatever it is. Same thing. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Who do we have?
That's a lot of paths.
Functional medicine.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Functional medicine.
Functional medicine doctors. That's something that's out there now. They're trained doctors to look for the root cause rather than treating the symptoms.
Oh, well,
they're
that's
very
good.
hard to find.
I bet they are.
And then when you find one, to find a good one again. One that'll listen to you and allow you to be part of the healing, because again, we get into the methods versus madness thing. That can really, I found one and I thought I had found gold, and I got in there and in one visit I wouldn't go back. Because they never listened to a word I said. They were doing all the methods, never wanted to know my journey, how far I come, and they couldn't help me at all until they had all this done. Gave me a list of all these blood works to go. My insurance didn't cover any of it. I was $3,000 out the door if I went for all this blood work. No explanation whatsoever. If you want me to help you, that's what you got to do.
That's ridiculous.
And I was like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. See
Yeah,
ya.
that's a nice wish list.
That wasn't even like, what kind of person are you? What's your nutrition? Nothing.
Right. Do you exercise?
They needed to do all these things, or there was nothing they could do for me. So that meant they only read their stuff. Yeah. Again, but if you can find a good functional medicine doctor that plays both sides of the fence and will really help you find the root cause, you have found
gold.
Yeah.
You've
won the megabucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Boy, who'd have
Physicians, nurse practitioners, they can branch off and be integrative. There's quite a few of them where they've taken the leap, done some training, and then they'll do both sides out of their office.
Okay. I've heard more of that than
Yes.
too many of these names. A lot of nurse practitioners that have
Nurse practitioners tend to be more versatile because they're less trained the way a doctor is trained, and then more trained in the nursing path, which is more compassionate.
Right.
So they're more about the patient.
they're more open. Okay.
Yeah, so they can kind of brainstorm with you better.
Okay.
The biggest thing with them, again, between the physicians and the nurse practitioners, I've seen great ones and I've seen not so good ones. Because are they willing to use the diagnostics that they have access to? That's the one liability I see, that most of them do not.
Right. There's nothing to lose with
Well, they
the
don't have,
diagnosis.
depending on how they build their practice, they don't have access.
Gotcha. So that could be a problem. Yep.
Yeah.
Which allows them to stay in that little cocoon.
Right. So they're only using alternative diagnostics versus the the different science, because they believe their science is better than that science. But there is no right or wrong. Again, what is best for the individual sitting in front of you at the time is where you have to interview the practitioner.
Right. And you don't want to waste too much time if someone happens to be sick. Wasting all that time not knowing what you're dealing with. I mean, that could significantly cut down the time, and you're able to help that person on so many other levels.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. You have to find out from all of these practitioners, where do they get their information and their training?
Oh.
Okay, my biggest problem is if you're sitting in front of me with cancer and I want to help you problem solve, because I'm the person you come to so we can look at it all, and we try to figure it out. And I look up breast cancer, stage 2, HER2 positive, all this stuff. And I find out they use these 3 drugs against it. They give, these are the side effects of the drugs. This is your outlook. These are the surgery options. This is what Dana-Farber's doing. This is what this one's doing. You go to the natural person and they say, if you take this, this, and this, it's going to work and you don't have to do that. I can't find a stitch of evidence to support that.
To support that.
And they tell you that there's good studies to back it.
Well, where are they?
That depends on the practitioner and what they've read and where they're training from. Some of them are over in Europe.
Okay.
Some of them are over in Texas. Some of them are over in Mexico.
Coming from all over.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to know if they're going to be using this to save my life or foster my life. I'm not saying this one's right. Because there's a lot of loopholes in that. But you need to be able to read the same information they're reading and get a way that you can make that decision.
And not just take it on somebody's say-so.
Mostly people take it on the say-so of the practitioner. Because I've seen people with the exact same diagnosis go to 6 different practitioners and get 6 different treatments, and I can't research one of them. Where are they coming from, and where is the basis of the support for it? And who I've never seen a study, I've never seen a trial, but it's true, it works. So you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. I'm not saying that some of it doesn't work, because I've seen people do it alternative and fare pretty well. But you need to be able to find that information out if you're going to make a good decision for yourself.
Right. And not an emotional decision.
Right.
You want to make a smart, precise, careful decision.
Right.
Okay. Wow.
Because the internet can be a dangerous place.
Well, it can say whatever you want it to say. They can make it say whatever they want it to say and look pretty.
Right. So the red flags, strong opinions about what you should do. So if they tell you you should vaccinate or you shouldn't, you need to say, that's my personal choice. What are your reasons for telling me I should or I shouldn't? And then go out and figure it out for yourself.
Right.
For somebody to sit in front of you and say, don't do it,
What are your
They're
reasons?
not your
And-
boss.
Correct.
They're just a source of information for you. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a Western guy or an alternative guy. Neither one can tell you what to do. They can give you their side of the story so you can go home and process it.
Which is what we should be doing, going home and making decisions. We should be talking about it and looking at it. And again, it's a very individual decision based on your own health as well.
Right.
So that's something that's forgotten.
If they have too much of a strong belief on one side of medicine versus the other, that's a red flag, because you're not going to get an objective view out of them if they are really happy on just the science, or if they're really happy on they don't want you to take any drugs whatsoever. You're not going to get the information.
It's not fair and balanced.
Again, my biggest thing, if they are instilling fear-based medicine in you, you need to run hard and fast.
Get out that door.
Because I see it every day that people are crippled. They can't eat anything but organic. They can't eat anything but free range. They're spending their life savings on buying these top-end, high-end supplements because everything else is crap in every store and every company except coming from these specific companies. You know, they can't buy anything but 100% cotton for their bed. They can't, the list goes on and on and on, because when you tell somebody something's bad for them, and you start saying that all their environment's killing them, this is killing them, that's killing them. These people have PTSD over.
Well, they're afraid of everything.
But what's killing them is their fear of everything they're doing is killing them. So I hate, and I will say it over and over again, I will go to my grave fighting fear-based medicine, because it cripples people from making decisions. And that is my strongest say. That's all, you know. Yeah.
That's egocentric and narcissistic
it's out there
in a way.
all the time. It's out there all the time.
Wow,
okay.
thank God I never
My
ran
favorite
into it.
is they say.
Who says?
They say.
They say, but
who's
they?
The they?
Here's
I'm going to get a T-shirt.
Who's they?
Who's the they?
Mine is, in my other life, under whose authority? Whose authority? Where'd you get that authority? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could do those. We could do some pretty cool T-shirts. Drive everybody crazy.
Who's the they? I'm going to make them. I'm
they?
going to come in here one time.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you think about me and my opinion of anything. It doesn't matter what you think about medicine. Doesn't matter what you think about exercise, nutrition, stress, or how you look at any of them. If you're not involved, if you're not present making the decisions for yourself and truly evaluating what is right for me, you're never going to succeed.
Because it's somebody else making the decisions for you yet again.
Right, but we all
going
feel
along.
those somebodies that I just told you about. Look at how wild the variety is of those somebodies. But you got to find this somebody that sits with your, and I can tell you right now, I've gone through practitioners my whole life, because every time I learn something from them, I learn more, and I realize, well, that person had that piece, but now I've outgrown them. I've got to find someone else who has what I have now. And you just keep looking. You don't just stick with one and trust them with your life.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn stuff. And the more you learn stuff, you might learn differently than they are now, taking you in a different direction. That's okay too, especially when you're doing alternative, because you're spending a boatload of money out of your own pocket.
Oh yeah, that's not covered by insurance.
Yeah. So go around.
You better
figure it out.
And don't be afraid to say, hey, you're not a fit for me.
And that's all it is. There's nothing personal involved.
You're
I'm
not
just
a fit.
not there yet.
Yeah.
Or I'm going
past
in a
where
different
you are.
direction.
Yeah.
Not past.
Well,
I'm just going in a different direction. I hate hierarchies.
That's more positive.
I hate hierarchies. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was a boatload of information. But again, it all boils down to you are the master of yourself. You need to make your decisions, and the people are out there to help you, give you education, give you the information so you can go make a decision on your own, that you can make a informative decision, but not an emotional decision based on whether you like this person or don't like that person, because that doesn't matter in the end. It's you and your body.
That's all that matters, because you're never going to hit it off 100% with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's impossible. We're all human.
Right. But are they going down the same road you're going, or are they taking you on a path you're uncomfortable
Are they dragging you down their path?
And when you go down their path, ask yourself, Am I doing it because it's the easiest route and I don't want to do the research and I trust them implicitly? But how well do I really know them to trust them with my life? Because people don't realize they are trusting these people with their lives.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
That's a huge deal. So tell people how they can find you. It's Marie Notig.
marienotig.com, MARIEKNOETIG.com. And if you go on my website, there's some free resources and things like that. I've got my book. I've got a couple of courses you can take to learn more about yourself. Some meditations for sleep.
Absolutely.
And, going within
it's all
and trying
there.
to heal yourself. It's all there.
Yep. Just listen, and
I'm
learn.
here to give you tools to help yourself, not to do it for you.
That's what we all have to learn. For so long, we've been led by the hand. Now it's time for us to take somebody else's hand, which is our own, and say, let's go to it.
Pretty much.
Well, thank you. And I can't wait till our next show and the next subject. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. It was
We'll
fun.
see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the show.